Hi there. For those of you that are normal viewers to the recently new podcast, this will be a little bit unusual for you. The podcast generally, we interview guests and 90% of them are Rangers players, ex-Rangers chairman, etc. So a little bit of a divergence from that. And the reason being, I just want a bit of a rant. And something happened today over the last few days has been main topic news about Michael Matheson from the SNP Scottish Government. He went on holiday over the Christmas period. This is Christmas almost a year ago. And he managed to rack up on his government issued iPad a roaming bill for £11,000, just under £11,000. And £11,000 was for usage between the 28th of December and the 3rd of January. Not a lot of days, 5-6 days. Since then, he's came back from his holiday. He submitted a claim, which is par for the course for anybody who works for government bodies or a number of businesses. If you incur any costs in your normal business usage, you would claim them back. So, at some point after January the 3rd, 2023, Michael will have submitted a claim. Now, I'm not sure if that claim would be submitted monthly, weekly or quarterly, but it's fair to assume that it would have been a short time after the 3rd of January 2023, possibly February, if he was claiming a month behind. Now that claim for £11,000 of data usage on a government iPad, he obviously got the bill, didn't think for a minute that's excessive, I should maybe consider whether it was personal use or business use, and put a claim into Scottish Government. And the claim was paid out. So not only did he not stop for a minute, not hold back, not possibly look at the usage in this bill and not put the bill in. He might have had other usage in that time that it was parliamentary work, and he may have been able to claim those back. But he didn't. He's put I would imagine, the whole bill in, not stopping for a minute to think about this astronomical sum for 5 or 6 days worth of usage. And a bizarre thing that not much or not any of the media are touching on, someone in the Scottish Government paid that out. So around about February 2023, with this £11,000 bill, which I would imagine would have been higher because he would have had other usage, and the data that's publicly available was only for 6 days. So it would have been over that. There would have been some normal usage in there as well, I'd imagine, in his monthly bill. And someone in the Scottish Government decided to sign that off and pay Michael his £11,000. It's came to light, and there's been a bit of a throw about it over the last few days, and there's been lots said and lots of facts put about. And then today, he was answering questions inside the Scottish Parliament, and he made some astronomical claims. First of all, he was asked about his password and the usage of it, and he went on to explain that while he was on holiday with his family, with this government-issued device, he shared the hotspot passwords with his children so that they could access his iPad to save them usage on their mobile devices, possibly phones or other iPads. But he didn't think back then that the Scottish taxpayer would be paying for his child's usage of the roaming charges on his iPad. And if he thought he maybe didn't get any roaming charges while he was on holiday in Morocco for Christmas and New Year 2022 going into 2023, I think it's fair to assume that when he came home and was presented with a bill, we would have soon realised that he would have been charged for roaming while on holiday. The dates are there. We've all seen the itemised bill. It's readily available. But no, Michael didn't stop for a minute and think, while I was on holiday, I probably broke the rules by giving people access to government passwords for a government device and let them use it as a hotspot. No, Michael just put his bill in and claimed the money back. He was then asked, as recently as Monday, by the press, was the usage while he was on holiday all for government use? And his answer was simple. It was 2 letters long in one word. He said no. This was Monday. Today's Thursday. So, fast forward back today again, in the Scottish Parliament, Michael's asked a series of questions. And he finally admits, or does he? What we're expected to accept as the truth now is his sons watched football matches while he was on holiday. Not Michael, his sons. And then, in a sort of plea of compassion, he explained that he never mentioned this before for trying to protect his children. Because at the end of the day, his family come first. Such a noble man. Such a noble man, Michael. Such a noble man who is expecting us to believe this usage was purely now by his sons, and he's such a noble character that he didn't want to fling his children under a bus. So right up until this afternoon, when the heat is increasing, this noble knight of family protection suddenly decides to throw his sons under a bus. Not a fortnight ago, not in January when the bill came through, when he could have realised, I've maybe done some things wrong here. The children have had access to a government passwords for government device. The kids have obviously been streaming or downloading on that device's password. And I've got this £11,000 bill. So why don't I do the morally correct thing and I'll pay the bill and not claim it back because it's quite evidently not for government work. But no, Michael carries on, lies until today, and suddenly throws his kids under a bus. You're an amazing character, Michael. But one other thing that I find bizarre is the timing. So there's 2 things that don't seem to be getting covered. The timing of this. He is charged for usage almost 11 months ago, for a bill that was probably presented to him 10 months ago, for a claim that was probably submitted 9 or 10 months ago. And it's only coming to pass now that he is under scrutiny. This whole sham is nothing but a small example of how governments, and to be fair, not just the Scottish one, all governments are corrupt and have people cheating the system. But that happened to live in Scotland. And although majority of my life is governed by Westminster, which I'm quite happy about, I'm quite happy with that whole arrangement, but more and more of my life wants to be controlled by the Scottish Parliament. And the Scottish Parliament's probably got a lot of good MPs, SNPs, but I think it's fair to say it's got a lot of bad ones. And this idea that, we can just talk nonsense and tell lies and then just rejig fact to preserve the name of the SNP, it's becoming tedious. It's becoming a daily or weekly occurrence that there's another thing coming up, another story of, how they want to be judged by a different set of parameters that they quite happily every day want to judge people at Westminster. So it becomes the norm up here. And I hope if anyone watching this from down south appreciates that we're not all saltire waving, tartan wearing, unicorn hugging SNP supporters. If we were, we wouldn't be part of the United Kingdom because we had a referendum not so long ago and we decided not to. But it becomes tedious that it's daily, it's weekly, it's every chance the Scottish Government have, they want to blame Westminster. And they want people in Westminster to be, probably correctly, held to account. But when it's an SNP MP or SNP, or in the old days MEPs, they're allowed the support of their leadership, and we've just to accept that Michael is a family man, and a few tears in the Scottish Parliament have to forgive him all his ills. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Yousef, I can't remember your name. You're apparently the First Minister of this country, and we keep hearing about how we're governed by an unelected government down in Westminster. No one elected you, Humza. I heard you calling the other day there just for a general election for whatever reason, I don't know, because I didn't get past the first paragraph of your tirade. But you want those people to be accountable. Why don't you do the honourable thing? Sack your Health Minister for attempting. And he actually did defraud the public purse, because he has taken the money. If he wants to put it back 11 months later, I suppose that's down to him. However, he's already committed the fraud. And you, Humza, are an unelected First Minister for Scotland. So I apologise to my normal listeners and viewers, because this 10 minutes is a wee bit off the normal of my podcasts. But as a proud Scottish, British citizen, I've had enough.